Here's a Craftsman joiner that I found on Craigslist, and really good shape. Runs, does everything. It just has one little flaw. The fence doesn't always square up really well. So I think today we're going to go through and fix it. To explain what I'm talking about, you go ahead and square this fence up and tighten this. You can see it just pull away right down here at the bottom. It's not square. Loosen it up, set that in there, go to tighten it, boom. Now see, it came out at the top. Very inconsistent, extremely annoying. Taking a look at the back side, here's the piece that turns, lets this rotate, and this locks. So that's what's supposed to bring this, let you set the fence square to any angle, rather. And there's something in there that just isn't quite right. Fence is off. Looking at the mechanism once again with the this is the piece that rotates to set the fence angle, and then this short little piece here is what the back handle clamps that, keeps it from moving. So let's pull that out. That removed, you can see that the small little steps right here on the side of this have dented this soft aluminum. This piece is steel, this piece here is aluminum. So we need to change that. So my idea, I think the problem is, like I said, this very small edge is denting this real soft aluminum, steel against aluminum. So what I've got this huge pocket, but it's only gripping in this small area. So let's go ahead, I'll take and make a wider piece. I'll just drill and tap this so that this will fit down in there. And now we'll clamp all the way across. We'll have a much larger surface area for that steel to go. And then, so basically, with the same clamping force, we'll spread that force over a greater area, and most likely we'll dent that aluminum just a little bit less. First, determine the right tap. Looks like that's a M10 by 1.5. Best way to just lay the tap on there, get a good idea, see that the thread matches. So we'll go ahead, drill a hole through this, tap it with the M10, give it another shot. It can be a bit of a challenge to drill a hole directly on top of a round part inside of with a drill press. So I'm going to go ahead and model up a little part and then 3D print it. That will help me center both the punch and the drill in the drill press. So here we just make a little block. It's got a saddle on it with a 3/8 radius, so that'll just fit perfectly with the 3/4 round part that I've got. Just kind of dimension it up, give it, nothing's got to be very precise outside of the saddle. So here's the sketch that makes the part. Go ahead and extrude it. We'll make it 1.5 inches long, since my part is 1.5 inches long. And then let's just put a hole in the center. This hole will serve two purposes. One, it will line up my transfer punch so that I can center punch directly on top of the part. And two, it'll line up the drill, so when I put the vise in the drill press, I'll be able to drill directly in the center of the part. So There's the part. Pretty simple. Go ahead and save it. May want to print it later for some other purpose, or it's easy to modify for any different saddle. And now let's export it as an STL file so that it'll go in my 3D printer. There we go. Save that file. And then I'll 3D print it. I'm not going to show the 3D printing. It's more boring than modeling it. I've printed these small blocks on my 3D printer. So my part was 1.5 inches long. I went ahead and made the block 1.5 inches long. I've got a little hole there so I can use a center punch to line that up. So we just drop a block, drop that in the vise, then let's tighten it up. The block on the bottom is just to keep my drill from drilling into the bottom of the block. Let's take that, set that up there, drop my punch in the center, a little tap, bam, there we go. We've got a hole top dead center. So our drill is the pilot drill for M10 by 1.5. We'll start with a 1/4 since that's where I did my plug. We got that little block lined up. Put the RN. Ready to tap. Tap. Probably should put this in a bench vise, but which I think I probably will. I'll switch it. Finish tapping it on the bench. Here's the old piece, and let's just pop this in here and thread that on there just slightly, so you can see that only goes across that clamp that much. Right down in here, you can see the marks where the little edges of this thing right there were just denting this aluminum. So now let's compare it to the new piece. The new piece reaches all the way across that cavity, so it'll clamp in there nicely. I sanded, filed it, area flat in here. It was deformed. I tried to polish in there with a little steel wool the best I can. Polish that up a little bit. Now all these pieces slide together real well. Let's go ahead and drop them back into position. There. Bolt comes through. Got our new clamp piece. There we go. This will stick out just a little bit, but that's not a problem because on the back of the fence there is a little bit of clearance. Now the test. Bring that right up there. We tighten that. No movement. It's fixed.